if it ends, we will start again. Journey that will never end. Journey that will never end. And if it ends, we will start again. We will start again.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nacho is in the house. Happy Halloween, my friend. It is that spooky end of October that everyone was hoping for. October, they said. And turns out the first red October ever. Elijah Black, welcome to the stream. Not ever, but in the last 7 years, this is the only October that was sobering for many. So, in the tradition of Halloween, it's trick-or-treat season, and you know, we all here for the treats, not the tricks. The tricks are for tricksters on Twitter and them. First of all, this video is getting instantly demonetized and blocked in like 20 countries because I play nothing but bangers for you guys, so you can enjoy some music. So can we do a sound check? And let me know if the mic is farting all over the place or is it crystal clear, because what I'm about to show you will need to be clear on all fronts. And we also need some ambiance. And so let's bring that ambiance back in. 50% is kind of whack. Let's bring it up to 70 maybe. I don't know if it's too much, if it's too overwhelming, let me know. We'll tone it down a little bit. Okay. All right. So first things first is I gotta tell you, the levels that I'm watching, the levels that I'm trading, I set it and forget it, right? I wake up, I'm in profit, and it feels good. And I hope the same is happening with you out there. Now, first thing I need to do here to get the brain going is I need some tea, okay? I need some tea to get the party going. So momentum was extremely choppy over here yesterday. I want to talk about price action. And notice how I'm not concerned about where to from here. Is it up or down? This is a trading channel, Profit Platoon. By the way, new name. This is the first stream with the new name. Stay hydrated, never liquidated. Nacho, you know it. And you know, I recommend water. And then right after that, tea. Tea is right next to it. It's the two greatest beverages in the world. Anyways, all based on water. What you don't want to be doing is following the water advice on Twitter. Now, HC is a concept that I call half candle, that many other people call their own different names. But look, in order to get the point across, we have to call it something, because who's got the time to say the average statistical reversal point, whatever, on the daily at 0.5% of your Fibonacci retracement thing. Everybody knows what that is. It's just it's too complicated. The world of finance in general, there's just way too much going on. Silence and just get it done, right? There's no need to talk about it. So I thought about it and I said, you know, HC, the hell is HC anyways? We all got these 2-letter acronyms, these abbreviations happening at 2 letters. And I said, nah, every time my trade hits these levels, every time I short towards them, or if I'm buying at these levels at HCs, then it's automatically a new Prada bag. Not that I'm buying them, but I know a lot of people can appreciate that sort of outcome. So I call this level Prada, and I'm proud of it. All right. And what does it stand for? It stands for many things. And I don't know, like PRADA, pivot reversal and daily alignment. Price reaction and defined area. Price reverses a daily average is what I like the best, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. The daily average is a price reversal point. So Prada stands for price reversal at daily average, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're out shopping for a new Prada bag for your wife or yourself, this is it, right? This is it. So I'm going to now help you set this up so we can be both on the same page. I'll talk about the pivot reversal points, the changes and the stuff that's going to be released soon. Many of you have been inquiring about my simple schmacdicator over here called Trend Runner. And what basically that does is it finds a unique sequence of candles. I don't know how many people are tuned in right now. I stopped tracking a long time ago, but for the few of you watching, right, I'm gonna let you have this, right? So you can do this manually or you can use this thing. It doesn't really matter. But if you backtrack a little bit, it basically works like this, right? So starting off from the top over here. So a sequence of candles that it looks for has to meet, there has to be like some sort of parameters based on specifically ADX and ATR and ADR, average daily range, average true range, and just basically averages, right? Nothing to do with moving, or who's got the time to wait for these kind of support and resistance levels? Maybe a lot of people do, and it works great. Trend lines is a very solid, if you got the risk under control, it's a good strategy, but we need something more precise. All right, so this laser show over here is just that I made them extend into the future, but they don't have to. They live like insects, only a few seconds, a few minutes, and then you forget about them. But what they do is they create issues or problems for price advancements later. And the reason why they're so effective at showcasing points of reversals, dumps, aligned with momentum, always MSX, right? Always when the cloud is coming down and price is going up against these trend lines and you have your break, boom. Actually, NQ, I predicted a drop on NQ, which resulted in a 2% retracement and is now in a downtrend, regardless of what the bounce looks like. I did a live stage on YouTube where I talked about, what did I talk about? I talked about something. I talked about NQ and watching for a signal that upon which we're utilizing lag in a very unique way, where instead of fighting it and dismissing it, we're actually saying lag makes you slow down. Think about it. If the indicator is lagging and actual price is too early and you're like, man, I should have waited like 20 candles and then went short because I got the short signal, but the darn thing went up and it kept going up. But then I was right and it reversed. So lagging indicators such as, let's bring DSR in here. Okay, like this is the you know what this is, what the gray line is, the gray, the one that makes all traders turn their hair gray. This gray line over here is basically the 29, 28, I don't remember, lagging span. They call it the lagging span. It's the laziest bastard out of them all, right? And it's like it's dragging behind price. But what it allows you to do is, instead of trading live signals on actual price, which price is a jester. I always talk about price being a jester. It's not a king. There's only one king. If you know, you know. But price is a jester. It just clowns around, it dances around, and it's never really serious, So you're guessing a lot with it because it tricks you out. But the lagging indicator is like, okay, I'm gonna let you do all these tricks, right? But I'm gonna creep up historically, find some sort of confluence right like in your footsteps, find a pattern. And in this case, it was this guy right here. So when this lagging span crosses this point in time, this happens. So you have your 2-point confluence where one trend line is being crossed against another trend line. You have trailing steps, and finally, instead of being short over here or over here on this wild candle, which always reverses back up because it's unsustainable like this, you kind of wait for things to align and then go for it. And so sessions like Asia, London, New York helps. But I'm not gonna get into that because you guys are all over the world and you need to figure out what session works best for you. Me, I like my chops. I like my pork chops. You know what I mean? I figured if pigs get slaughtered, bulls make money and bears make money. Who's slaughtering the pigs? And so I have decided early in life that I want to be a butcher by profession instead of getting butchered. And so I started trading ranges. And that's how Crypto Ranger was born when I got into crypto, because I was in the ranges, I was in the trenches before all this. So now I'm showing you how to tackle these ranges, because guess what? It's 80% of the time, and every fool out there with their indicator is talking about catching a trend. Now there is a way to catch a trend, but you don't know if it's trend until it starts trending, by which time price will have chopped you up to the point where you don't even recognize the charts anymore. You don't know what you're looking at. So butcher or be butchered. And so where do we find the little piggies that are hiding within the daily range? Exactly at half point retracements. So NQ's been a blessing to trade. Oh, Nacho, I'm really sorry to hear that, but you know, I have a rule where if it doesn't look certain and step away from it, come back to it a few days later. But anyways, so you have your and then you have a breakout over here. And so if you bring DSR at this point, when price broke above this red line, first of all, it's at pivot support, is going towards the yellow daily open, and this thing is about to cross to the upside of the candles, or at least it seems that way. It's found support over here. So lagging span is the best confluence that you can have. All right, so it breaks out, boom, anyways, same thing. Now over here, we have another breakdown, and that breakdown is indicated by lagging span, looking at another trend line right here. Now, each and one of these trend lines, every time we break below it, you get at least a 1% move on any instruments. We're gonna look at NQ2 because I've been trading that, and successfully so. But you have another break here, another break here. That's what the trend runner does. And then when it detects a special sequence of candles, a combination of a higher low or a high sequence, once it's detected, it begins to seed a line that you won't really see. It'll be like a thin gray line because it requires price to actually interact with it and post a minimum of 4 wicks around it. The wicks are these guys over here. So it would not draw a trend line like this. It would not do it because you're gonna have a sequence of candles very early at the bottom when that is about to happen. So the trend runner is, instead of doing this, what everybody else does, and you're waiting and you don't know which candle is about to pop, you don't know which, are you using this high? So it removes subjectivity and replaces it with objective data. Objective data that shows reversal points very early, whether you're at the top or the bottom. Now, you don't need this automated. I'm using it. I've been using it for a while. This is not new. I have had this in the arsenal for a long time, but I decided to talk about it because lately I've been seeing people complaining about how complicated things can get with trading. And so you can draw these lines yourself, and if you just use momentum and a simple trend line strategy, I mean, you can go and watch what's her face. There's this chick online, this girl, this lady, I don't know you never know these days. Anyway, she's out there trading and she's all about trend lines. So I would say, go and check that out, because there's only one way you can trade these trend lines, which is breakout, go long, put your short below the low, your stop below the low, and just kind of ride the wave. And all you need really is a good momentum system. MSX works, but you can get away with whatever else that you like. Go for your RSIs and whatnot. But then you're like, okay, well, we have these breakouts. Let's suppose I have my trend lines, and everybody has those trend lines. Everybody's looking at these trend lines. What are we actually watching for? like, how do we know where the top is? Like, where do we sell it at? So a couple of things over here. So first of all, to sell it at would be to basically use the daily range of the previous high, draw it to the bottom, and basically this area, this thickness over here, right? This is another Prada level right here. This is where you're gonna have some battling happening, you know, some chopping, some breaking out, some reversing, some retracing. And so you can see how price is stuck between these levels, and this is very powerful stuff. So there are many different ways to use the Fibonacci retracement tool. I use it as a trend line just to get my HC. As a matter of fact, I don't use that tool at all. This is just to visualize it for you, what I see when I have my chart vision goggles on. What you would do is you take a ruler, stretch it out like this, and there's your level. See? You go from the daily low to the daily high. Now, how do you know where's the daily low, daily high? Again, objective data, which is constant. It is not subjective. It is not something that, okay, I can draw it this way. You can. Everybody is looking at the same daily range. And so on your DSR, that would be from the low over here, PL, to your pivot high over here, previous day. So, and this is the expected range in which price is expected to move freely. So between the green and the red, basically, if you have that sort of retracement happening, then that's what you're looking for. And so at around this, for example, this short right here, which I'm also short, actually. I'm still short. I'm short from that 111 level over here. But let's get into this, like this level over here. For example, if you were to go and use the low or the previous, where's the pH? It's right here, right? This is the pH. You bring it down here. You can see how price went up to this level after it touched the daily and immediately rejected. Found support, went up to this level, stayed here a little bit, and immediately rejected. And so that's another, and that actually continues into the next day, because you can see, bang, right here you have an instant reversal. So very objective, very solid overall performance from these levels. Now this happens to line up with your CPR, DSR, CPR implementation. And so this is something that I have been sort of promoting to our traders, because I have learned that there are, I forgot what it's called, something money concepts out there, where this guy teaches about some very complex, he needs like 3,000 videos to teach you a concept. Talking about liquidity, sweeps, reversal, whatever. Doesn't matter, because if you bring that trader over and put him in front of me and say, hey, this is CR, and he says your strategy is basically CPR, daily open, retest, reversal back to previous high or back to previous low, nothing too complicated. I guarantee you he will eat his words and be like, yeah, you're right. I convoluted the concept for my own benefit gain to make it seem like trading is very sophisticated, that there are banks after you, that every time you go long or short, they see you and they want to go against you. Believe me, no one is after you. No one is manipulating these markets. Market makers are simply collecting fees at distances, liquidating people. That is true. And they're liquidating, they're not really liquidating, it's just that people end up getting liquidated because they position themselves at the wrong time, at the wrong place. Oh man, I'm working on the whiteboard. It's coming. I put an order through Amazon. Should be here any day now. But then I've got the whole setup over here ready to roll. Like I said, next few streams are going to be bangers in terms of like where these streams will be taking place. You will see. But what was I saying? Yeah, so DSR. Now you can set the alert right on this darn thing. You can actually set the alert on the level. Or what I like to do is I just like to use my DSR and set all these alerts with not confirm and close but touch. So I have all these set up, and you right click anywhere on DSR and say add trend runner. By the way, it has the alerts for sell and buy, and also the sequence of higher lows when it detects those. So it's very easy to just kind of open your phone and then put a trade in, literally. You don't need to be in front of your computer. You can be out and about and just open your phone and get in there very quickly. Get in and out. And so right now for the day, we're going to be ending this session, and this took a whole day. So you started over here, the day had opened over here, and you would know that this would be a long setup. Now in this chop we had something else. We had a bunch of candles with like pyramids, which both are bearish signals and bullish signals. See that? And you know, if you're risk on, if you have confidence in what you're seeing above baselines, above the open, you just go long. You just go long against the baseline and sell. And these are powerful candles. They don't look like much, but if you were to long these, you're getting like 0.3%, 300 points to the upside. For me, you know, I leverage up. I go like 3-4 Bitcoin up, and then I go, it goes up by $100. Boom, I'm out. And if it goes even by like $50 minus, I cut instantly. And how do I do it? On a limit order. I use chaser function with tactics, where I click close the position, and it just chases the book and puts my bid or my ask ahead of everybody else, and just gets me out of like as if it was a market trade. So that's awesome. So that's it. That's the card. That's the HC right here, ladies and gentlemen. It is the equivalent of using your ruler, which is the most powerful tool available on TradingView. Everything else is so that you subscribe to their plans. You don't need none of this. So the ruler is basically measures the high and the low, gets you the HC. You confirm with confluence that there's something to be had there, and you take it from there. You see a little bit of curvature over here. The little cloud is starting to contract. She wants to go up, but you know, extremely laggy over here. Yes, indeed. But nevertheless, on 5 minute, it was hell. It was like so choppy. But look at these trend lines. I had this, boom, got a long in. Trend line broke, boom, got a long in. So these are short by nature. It's just that they're extended, so they look like lasers. But I assure you, this is not the ridiculous time to be mocking these chart setups. First of all, I'm not the one drawing them. I'm not the spider here doing the web. I am using objective data to simplify the process, where the algorithm picks on specific candles and just nails it. And so same thing over here, but now look at this. Look how compressed it is. You see this? This is a non-tradable area until we resolve to the upside. This was somewhat tradable, but barely. And that was yesterday. And for me, that was more than enough. Now, confluence being over here at the HC Prada line is you had your support retest. And remember, baselines, support, daily open, anything that you're watching on your chart. Here's the alpha. Has a reclaim and a retest. RE. A reclaim and a retest. Whether it's purple, blue, violet, pink, freaking orange, whatever it is that you're looking at, whatever the system that you have, whatever you think, the magic that you have running through your charts, it is not a one-way street. Price always comes back to the mean of whatever that indicator is. You draw one deep enough. Listen to me, Bitcoin is going to 94 and lower, and there's nothing you can do about that. I have been preaching that level for a long time at 118 before all of this, okay? So why? Because we have a level there, and it's just a matter of time before we actually go and hit that level. Which, who has time for that? This is why we drop down to the 5. And imagine that what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, might as well be. Listen, let's get rid of all this nonsense. From here, you see this box right here? This is the equivalent of you looking at a daily time frame on Bitcoin. It's just a miniature version of that. It's like, you know, those like car models or whatever, and they go like 1 to 32 scale or something. This is it. You know, this is a 5-minute time frame, but its behavior, its expression is the same as daily, weekly, and monthly. Okay, so you're going to get that same setup, which is going to take forever, and it will seem like it's not working. So if you're building a short position, yeah, on the daily or weekly time frame, expect the weekly time frame ADR, average daily range, is 10,000 and change. So you should expect to be underwater if you're holding to play out a trade. You should expect fluctuations of $10,000 up or down, whatever your entry is. And if you cannot survive that volatility, I would not be able to survive that volatility if I had leverage. But most importantly, the amount of time that it would take for that trade to play out with a position that I don't have to sweat. So there's a thing, if it makes you sweat, if it makes you think about it and you cannot sleep, then your whole setup is bogus. You're already wrong on so many levels, and you need to get out. You need to be able to go to sleep in peace. If you were forced to, never do that, but if you were forced to have a position open and wake up to a nice, beautiful surprise and not be worried if you're wrong. So check this out. Realize, not analyze. We don't need to know where Bitcoin is going next. We don't need to know, was that the top for 2025? I'm done calling these things because you don't benefit from that. You're not holding a trade. And if I put you in a trade, and if you, as my client, for example, if we have reached that agreement and said, you know what, we're going to be building a position to the short, like Peter Brand right now on Twitter, last week, he's like, I'm not shorting Bitcoin, this is good structure. It was at that wick low, you know, that wick that brought us to 100K. He's like, everything's fine. This business here rebounded back to what? 111, 112, 115, right? It rebounded, and he's like, yeah, this is not looking good. It rebounded, I'm short. Come on, man. So Peter Brand is he publicly announced a derivatives based position on futures, Bitcoin futures, to the downside. So what does that tell me? That tells me that it doesn't matter how many years you have in the markets, You don't know what you're talking about if you've been spending most of your life living up your butt. You know what I'm saying? You got to get out of there. And you got to put things at the center of your life, anything that is not you. So when we take this price action, when we put it in front of us and we say, okay, let's be honest with each other. What do you want to do? And price goes, I open below the daily open, or I'm below weekly pivot. You're like, you want to go down, don't you? And it's like, yeah, I kind of do. But you know what? I'm not going to do it right away. I'm just going to dance around here. Accumulate as many long position as I can before I flush them all out. And you're like, oh, I see. Well, I'm going to see you on a lower time frame then, all right? I'm going to drop down and wait for a signal or two. You're going to give me that, right? And the price goes, yeah, I'll give that to you. I'll see you. And then it pumps and doesn't give you anything, but then you wait and eventually it does. It comes back, it's like, just kidding here. We going lower. And you're like, yes! And then the danger creeps in. And the danger is that you say to yourself, see, I was right. Because it doesn't matter. We're not here to be right. We're just here to... Profit Platoon is about clarity, not discipline. You don't lack discipline, or you don't lack any of the things that everyone says there's something wrong with you. My brothers and sisters, there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly fine. It's just that it'll take some time for you to find the edge and realize what it is that I'm saying here. But if you have found it, listen closely, because it doesn't get simpler than this. Price reverses at daily average. That's Prada. And that is your HC. But HC sounds whack. So from now on, we're going to call it Prada. All right? Prada levels. It ain't Prada if it's not buying you a new Prada bag after you hit that level. Now, doesn't mean you're sitting there with... Look, on this channel specifically, we talk about extreme specifics that everybody else just generalizes and kind of skips over. For example, stop losses. Yeah? How do you deal with stop loss? What is your stop loss gain on a level like this? Do you wait for a confirmation? Do you sit here with a limit order? When people say, hey, these levels are beautiful, like me over here, And what does that mean? Are you sitting here with a limit order? Because this little bounce makes all the difference. If price rips up from here and you're late by 0.30%, that kind of skews the chart against you. So small trades, what I like to do is I like to catch a knife with a tiny little position, so that if it drops down by another 3,000 points out of the blue, I'm down by $100 maximum. However, if I see there's a bounce on it and the level is persistent and 2 touches over here, and I see a trend developing, like this is a developing trend. You see this gray line? This is the gray hair that I was talking about. This is the stuff that will drive them mad. But this is the trend line. When I see that, and I see that bounce, and I see some points of reversals, like I see the precognition dot over here. Before this green dot was even born, the precog was here, foretelling the birth of the star over here, the green star. And before this appeared, the precog was like, you know what, man? You better start paying attention or set the damn alerts, because I'm about to print. And it prints, and you're not long from here. You're long from here at the most, or you're long from at these candles. Because intraday, the way you treat this is this doesn't look that different from like the all-time high, price falling and then reverses, and then the second all-time high. So this little fractal over here is kind of like the exact same thing that you would see on the higher time frames. So Yeah. And what you can do is bounce to bounce is from here to about... It already played out, so we're not even going to touch that. But let me just use this guy right here. Bring it over here. And that is your level. It already, like, it bounced from here, and you could have mapped it out already. There's another Prada level right here. Boom. And it goes back where? Where the hell is it going? Up from that reversal. It comes back, bam. It goes back up, now it's stuck. Now this is going to cause a pop, and it may happen live right now. And I think it's up based on this, but I don't know. It depends on how DSR will open. But you see what I'm saying? You're trapping these candles like so using the HC point, which is magnificent on its own, brilliant when combined with all the other modules. And this doesn't get simpler than that. And your stop losses here, honestly, you don't, it either works or it doesn't, because you're in and out so quick with size that you don't really, you know, you're not waiting to see if this is something that you have to be quick over here with your fingers, you know, get in on a limit. The problem is, use this on NQ. The problem with Bitcoin is you want to use a market order for these type of trades, or you have to have a limit order pending sitting. So pre-planning stage, you have to plan this out, and you know, just look at these price levels over here, right here, and then set them up with a pending limit order, and put a take profit point of like $200 up. $200 up. Now, do we have something? Do we have $200 every time we touch this? Yeah, we have 300. Forget about it. There's so much here. You're exceeding ATR that's allowed on the 5 minute by a lot. What is the average true range over here? Tell me. You don't know. Neither do I. Because we need to see something over here. We need to see money management component over here. ATR values. Nothing fancy. All these other indicators trying to be... Look at this, $100 on 5. You're getting 4x the ATR. So these candles right here is like 4xing your bet. All right. So if the ATR is only $100 distance and you're getting 400 per candle, that is so good. So here's the concept. Do you have any questions about how to use Prada for your next trade, or what to look for? Very simple stuff, guys. And the deeper the level, the wider the zone of where. So what that means is, if it's a tight zone, you don't really have much space to place your trades, as in you can't mold it in. It's going to be touch reversal. The bigger, the wider the field over here, right? The cushion. The more candles you're going to have trading within that field, like, you know, and so you just got to wait for this. This is a breakout point. This is a breakout point. This is the mean. So whatever happens at the Prada level, if it goes lower, well, you know the direction from there. No different than the CPR, which is, forget about all these fancy concepts. The most superior indicator of them all in terms of levels is your CPR. Just got to implement it right. So we have a smart system here where we kind of wait for, we printed one day ahead so that we know this is your range. So within this range of this daily block, from the beginning of this yellow to the end, this is what you're working with. This is your playground. This is where we speak Prada in this house right here, the house of Prada. It's within this range, okay? And so sometimes, regardless of what the indicator shows you, let's say there's a sell signal. For example, if we were to I don't know. Let's just minimize all this. You could, as you know, MarketSpy has a couple of indies over here. For example, the bear market. So once you get these guys, you know, this is telling you prepare to short. All right, start assessing. So one over here to the downside, one over here to the downside, one over here that brought you to the downside. More than the average of like one over here is the black X in action. And we're cooling off, we're coming down, and off we go. Here's another one, brought you down still, but you're above the trend line, so you're only focusing on EQ1 line. So you're only focusing on bullish signals such as the MAG7s. The MAG7s over here. And when you got these showing up, they have to be below the like over here, for example. This is a reversion. Nah, we didn't get any over here, but we got one over here. So stuff like this, right? So regardless, if you have a bunch of signals piling up, one on top of the other, and then you have your levels. This is so clean. And then you have your levels, right? Then you start looking at confluences, and you're like, okay, do I have any? By the way, I am telling you, I'm not doing anything until this is 1 hour. Check it out. You see these rays? Today, ladies and gentlemen, today, I can tell you that support here is pretty significant at this stage of Bitcoin's development. So even if it goes down and retests the previous low, you are looking to do this for the most part. Because once you have that trend line break, and I said, you know, I don't want to be sitting here and guessing where to next until I get a touchdown on one of these trend lines. By the way, Prada Level, very proud of it, was also in confluence with, if you have MarketSpy Trend Runner, or you're drawing your own trend line, so you have your own thingy going on, but it's better if it's Trend Runner. You have confluence at where? At the green lines and at the red lines. So this is a break, retest, and now we're waiting for it to bounce back up. But this is a serious support and resistance levels. So this fanning out over here right now, the fan is serious, guys. So even if we go down to retest, we're gonna be bouncing up. So you have buy signals all the way down here. And this is basically what this trumpet right now is showing you, is that you're going to be doing this. Even if it goes here for today, we might be short. But tomorrow, by the time it exhausts and reclaims that level again, and again, you're gonna have your Prada level. And that Prada level is going to be waiting for your ass. It's already bounced at the same spot over here. So this is, we're going to be flirting with this, but eventually when and if we break out, we will be looking to post, if this materializes, this line materializes, a lower high right here. So this is what Bitcoin is looking like right now. And you know, I am too lazy to look at the macro because I never get any comments and nobody seems to be interested. So who cares what's going on the weekly? You know, I will be right when you see Bitcoin is at 94K. If one of you remembers, that's all I need, because you can go out there and spread the gospel of the Prophet Platoon, the legend that was once there giving it all away for free, but nobody listened. But it'll be too late, because by then the capitulation, CR over here will be buying that capitulation. He ain't gonna be sitting there wondering where to next. I have my levels mapped out. ready to bid. So all I have to do is wait. God told Moses, just wait. All right. And then look what happened. Let's light up some incense for those who don't have the chart vision goggles at their disposal. As for the rest of you guys, hold on. I was late to the stream working. What's the Prada level? Gonna have to rewind. But that's where the Prada level lets you buy Prada bags every time price hits it. That's all it is, nothing special. Then what you can do is don't buy Balenciaga because it drops value fast. Like 80% of its value is gone within a year. So stick with what doesn't work, but it's timeless. I mean, what's not trending, sorry, it does work. Prada was known for designing their own patterns, leather prints that nobody else could even imagine to be possible in their dreams. And so this is the same thing. I say simplify and realize, not analyze. And it's one of the things that I used to take lightly because I was like, surely people are interested in more complex. And then I realized, man, everyone's busy and they just want the goods. What's Gucci? And I'm like, all right, let's do this. So daily open, prepare for a pump reversal. If not, I'll be damned, because she's looking like she's going to curve up. But it's the chop goes on. The chop goes on, like Queen said. The chop goes on. It must go on. And so let's see. If I get a retest once again, but like I said, over here, you already had so many trades right here, so many range-bound opportunities. From here to here, you had another Prada hitting over here for another 600 points. From here to here, you had another one hitting for another 400 points. I mean, what are you waiting for? Start now. Call 1-800-PRADA levels and get your free PDF so you can trade like this. Look at that. One trade. You're not late, you're right on time. Right now, we're offering 40% discount on all of this information. 40% of attention discount. Nothing too complicated over here. Rich with JC, welcome to the stream. But if you rewind just a tiny little bit, my friend, to the beginning of all this madness, you will see that we're really having fun over here with these concepts. Whew, it's Prada or nada. I love that, Nacho. It's Prada or nada. That's it. So once again, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna get to this level? Bazam! There it is. What about next? What are we aiming for over here? Bazam! And so this is a compression situation, ladies and gentlemen. When this pops or drops, well, I flip my charts. I go like this. So if this pop, it's always a pop for me. Pop goes the weasel. It's always a pop for me. It is always, oops, upside your head. Even when the market is short, I'm thinking long mentality because my chart is flipped like this. And I'm like, I just got to make sure that I press the right button over here, right? you flip the chart, but the buttons didn't flip, so. Imagine this starts to go up and you're like, buy! Boom! You just bought against a potential short setup. Nice. Anyways, gotta stay sharp over here, guys. One bag, another bag, another bag. You got your bum bag, you got your conclave, you got everything is on here. And that's Prada, my friends. But seriously, this level today, this has to hold. If not, a 50% retracement point awaits at around previous lows, basically. And depending on how this thing opens, DSR. Let me see if I can get you there real fast right now. We're about to end this thing right here. It's gonna open a new level. We don't have to wait. Guess what? We can know where the levels are. Look, hold on a second. Forget about Prada. Look. Bam. And developing CPR. Yeah. So it's opening higher. It's going to retrace. Possibly retest it. But it's up for today. It's gonna go. You know, you want to be buying the dip, because if this opens over here like this, yeah, man, you're gonna have a level. Oh, there it is. See the compression. I told you the compression was gonna get crazy over here. So it's like this. It's like this, my friends. And if we go up, we pop. So this is gonna agitate a lot of people, because the market's been whipsawing up, down, up, down. But I love it because it gives me structure. I don't care about waiting. You know, people are snoozing out, man. They're losing out on potential trades. Look at this compression, man. Oh my God, this is gonna get nasty today. Look at how thin this is. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow with another perfectly legitimate trade setup. But for now, let's watch this together, man. I'm not executing anything because I give it at least 1.5, 2 hours before I start thinking what the direction here is. All right, take the little ones out for candy. Appreciate the knowledge. Thank you, Nacho, for tuning in. Always my biggest supporter as of late. Elijah Black, Rich with JC. Thank you, guys. Watch these levels today and get that product going. Oh, before I sign off, I might as well sign off too. So we have a level. That's it. This is the daily level. This is what we're working with. But remember, today we're going to have a breakout. The daily range on Bitcoin is $4,000. 4,000 in whichever direction it chooses to go, that is going to be your range. I am sure that you will be able to capture something within that $4,000 distance. Even if it's only a couple of $100, wait for it, you're getting it. This compression is insane. Bring it back down to about here. If it falls, you're going for S2, which is the previous low over here. And so you're buying that or you're short towards those levels. Beautiful. Okay, so now we know the compression is going to be insane. It's cooking, and just catch it by the tail when you get it. Let the sell-off begin right now. Look at that. They're going to try to like scam you out. It's going to go down over here to about this level. Going to go back up. So we have Prada defending this level. Failed that, we have a breakout. I'm short down to PL over here. Or I'm buying later on at the lows. So that's it. All right. And finally, I'll get you access to Trend Runner in a bit once we have the updates out. Some of the new updates for Armageddon, for example, we have, this is amazing though. This is something that I have been advising traders from back in the day to trade with, and I said, you know, you need to have this sort of thing. HTFC, the high time frame candle overlay, will be included with Armageddon, because as you're zoomed in on a lower time frame, you need to know what the heck is going on higher time frames, and the only legitimate way to do so is to overlay these candles with higher time frame candles. Right now, my traders, myself, we have been doing this using other indicators. There's a ton of them, but I said we need our own implementation, and this one's gonna have a label countdown over here, and it's just gonna give you beautiful candle setups. So remember, lower time frames don't mean nothing. They influence higher time frames, but higher time frames, as they start printing bearish, look at this bearish open right now. It's going to the downside. It's going to the downside with the black X printing. Look at that. So these candles, I don't know, go for the low of this candle. Go retest that Prada level. Would be happy to buy. So this is what you're looking at. And this is going to help a bunch, because here you have a hammer reversal, but you wouldn't know if you were looking at this from a single time frame perspective. So now you can see how these candles are just like, when we're talking about, for example, dragon skin, we're like, how do we know it's going to bounce? Well, this candle can be just reversed easily. That's a high time against the momentum. So it's going to come back. You want to buy into it, and bazam, there you have it. So that is coming in the next update. But copy this. Just open your fib retracement level and set your Prada. Okay, I'm going to leave this on for a bit. Set this level like so. Oh man, she's dropping. Like this is a fugly momentum over here, man. Or it can chop here forever, but you know. Once a level, always a level. But yeah, like I said, now once you have your move, bring it over here. Watch for these points. There's another banger right here. Clean, supreme clarity. You don't lack anything. You have everything. You don't need to learn anything. You need to execute. Use these levels, and it's probably the easiest way to represent what an HC concept is visually. And remember the red stripe. You're going to be seeing it a lot, and we're going to rub it in everybody's faces and be like, yeah, we can be as simple as that too. Everything works and everything doesn't, as our trader box once said, and I tend to agree. So I say, take whatever and make it work. And that's it from me, your friendly host, CR. Let the dumpage begin. Are we buying the dip? That remains to be seen. Are we shorting? Give me the breakout from below. The daily open today. And we will short to the previous low. I'll see you guys soon. If you have any questions, not questions, forget about questions. Bring your ideas to live and bring them to Discord and talk about what it is that you're seeing, because we need that hive mind. This is the 3x platinum group, but nobody knows. So you got to do your job and let it be known. Bring the charts to life and give them a second chance at profiting others who may stumble across. I said it in my post yesterday. Sorry if I was harsh. I was like, the fuck are you doing there watching YouTube videos for? It's time to create. And I mean it. The best way to learn, execute, and actually build conviction is to educate others and share and be like, hey guys, these diamonds for me have been the shittiest trades ever. They don't work, but what does work is this. So I'm watching for example, baseline reclaim or this level. Or I threw out Armageddon out of my toolbox completely because I wasn't able to figure it out. Maybe I'm slow, I don't know, but I'll tell you what I did figure out, and this is it. And so here's my trade for the day. What do you guys think? We have that P&L wall. Just drop your trophies over there and let's game. Thank you guys for tuning in. The video will be banned in many countries due to music copyright violation, and I can't believe that on my last video Platoon Incorporated actually claimed the rights to my video. I was like, there's only one Platoon? How can there be another Platoon Incorporated? But there was. And they took charge and they're like, nah, buddy. You know, we own this music, so we own your soul. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Which is insane because I use this YouTube to communicate to my traders in my community and not address beginners or people stumbling. Anyways, you already know. All right, fam. I'll see you guys later. Okay, Box, got you. I will check in. I will check in and check the messages. Thank you, guys. All the best out there. And we didn't have time to look at NQ, but what is there to look at, honestly? NQ is doing NQ things, and just follow the arrow. This was the breakdown, the signal, clear as day. It is down 2% and counting, and it will continue to be going down. Oh man, top heavy, guys. What can I say? The Bronchiosaurus pattern is real. This gap is gonna get filled, and then maybe we can talk about longs over there then. But I don't know, man. Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Cheers. Hope you enjoyed. Get that Prada set up and let's go. We're off to the next episode. Cheers.